Every Transformer's eye color has a hidden meaning, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Blue eyes, the classic Autobot signal. Blue is easily the most iconic eye color in the Transformers universe, and it is most closely linked with the Autobots. When you think of heroes like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, those bright blue optics are one of the first details that come to mind. It is not just a visual choice to make them look cool. It carries meaning that helps the audience instantly understand who they are. Blue is strongly connected to morality and a sense of responsibility. Autobots are usually shown as protectors who care about others, especially humans, and their blue eyes reflect that calm and stable nature. Even when they are in the middle of intense battles, they rarely lose control. They fight with purpose, not anger, and that difference shows clearly through their optics. Another important meaning behind blue eyes is clarity of thought. Characters with this color tend to think before they act. Leaders like Optimus Prime are not just powerful warriors. They are thoughtful and strategic, often putting others before themselves. The blue glow gives a quiet message that this character can be trusted, even without a single line of dialogue. There is also an emotional side to it. Blue optics often represent hope. When Autobots arrive in dark or dangerous situations, their eyes shine through the chaos. That glow can feel like a signal that things might turn out okay. It creates a comforting contrast against the threats around them. Over time, this color has become almost like a symbol of heroism in the Transformers world. Even new viewers who know nothing about the story can look at a character with blue eyes and immediately feel that they are on the side of good. That kind of visual storytelling is simple but very powerful. Red eyes, power, rage, and destruction. Red eyes are the complete opposite of blue in almost every way, and they are most commonly linked with the Decepticons. Characters like Megatron and Starscream are perfect examples of this. Their glowing red optics instantly give off a sense of danger. Red represents aggression and dominance. Decepticons are usually driven by power, control, and survival at any cost. Unlike Autobots, they are not focused on protecting others. They want to rule, and their red eyes reflect that intense and often unstable mindset. The color itself feels harsh and threatening, which matches their personalities. There is also a strong link between red optics and anger. Many Decepticons act on emotion, especially rage or ambition. In some versions of the story, characters who switch sides or become corrupted actually have their eye color changed to red. This makes the transformation feel more real because you can see it happen, not just hear about it. Red also works on a psychological level. In real life, red is often used as a warning color. It signals danger, stop, or something that needs immediate attention. Transformers uses that natural human reaction very effectively. When you see glowing red eyes in a dark scene, your brain already knows something bad is about to happen. Another interesting detail is how red optics can make a character feel more intense, even when they are standing still. A Decepticon does not need to move or speak. Those glowing red eyes alone can create tension. It is a simple design choice, but it adds a lot of weight to every scene they appear in. Yellow eyes, speed, curiosity, and instinct. Yellow optics are less common than blue or red, but they still play an important role in the Transformers universe. Some versions of Bumblebee, especially earlier ones, and characters like Cheetor are known for having this color. It gives them a very different kind of energy. Yellow is usually connected to youth and curiosity. Characters with yellow eyes often feel more energetic and less serious than others. They are the ones who explore, ask questions, and take risks. Instead of carefully planning every move, they rely more on instinct and quick decisions. This color also represents speed. Many yellow-eyed characters are fast and agile, acting as scouts or messengers. They move quickly and react even faster. Their optics give off a sense that they are always alert, always aware of what is happening around them. Another layer of meaning is balance. Yellow can feel like it sits between blue and red. It is not as calm and controlled as blue, but it is not as aggressive as red either. This makes these characters more flexible in how they act. They can be playful in one moment and serious in the next. There is also a sense of unpredictability that comes with yellow optics. You never fully know what these characters will do, and that makes them interesting to watch. They bring energy into scenes that might otherwise feel too serious or too dark. Purple eyes, mystery and higher power. Purple optics are rare, But when they appear, they usually belong to characters who stand out in a big way. A great example is Shockwave, whose single glowing eye is one of the most memorable designs in the entire franchise. Purple immediately feels different from the more common colors. This color is strongly tied to intelligence and logic. Shockwave is not driven by emotion like many other characters. He operates on pure reason, making decisions based on what is most efficient rather than what is right or wrong. His purple optic reflects that cold and calculated mindset. Purple also suggests mystery. Characters with this eye color often feel distant or hard to understand. They do not think or behave like everyone else, which makes them seem almost alien even within the Transformers world. There is always a sense that they know more than they are showing. Another meaning behind purple optics is advanced knowledge or power. These characters can feel like they exist on a higher level, either intellectually or technologically. They are not just part of the conflict. They are observing it, analyzing it, and sometimes manipulating it from behind the scenes. At the same time, there is something slightly unsettling about purple eyes. They are not warm or comforting like blue, and they are not openly aggressive like red. Instead, they sit in a space that feels unknown. That uncertainty makes them powerful in a different way. Green eyes, unstable or unique personalities. Green optics are one of the rarest sights in the Transformers universe, and when they appear, they usually signal that something about the character is different from the norm. You might notice this color on figures like Lockdown or certain versions of Unicron. Right away, green feels unusual compared to the more familiar blue or red. And that difference is exactly the point. Green often represents independence. Characters with this eye color do not always follow the traditional Autobot or Decepticon paths. They tend to operate on their own terms, making decisions based on personal goals rather than loyalty to a side. This gives them a kind of freedom that other characters do not have, but it also makes them harder to predict. There is also a strong sense of neutrality tied to green optics. These characters are not always heroes or villains in a clear way. They can shift depending on the situation, sometimes helping one side and other times working against it. This flexible nature makes them feel more complex and sometimes even more realistic. At the same time, green can hint at instability. It suggests that the character may not follow normal rules or expectations. Their actions might seem unpredictable, and their motivations can be hard to understand. This does not always mean they are dangerous, but it does mean they cannot be easily trusted or fully understood. Another interesting layer is how green optics can represent uniqueness. These characters often stand apart in design, behavior, or purpose. They are not meant to blend in with the larger groups. Instead, they bring something different into the story, whether that is a new perspective or an unexpected threat. When you see green eyes, it usually signals that you should pay closer attention. This is not a character who will act in a simple or obvious way. They exist outside the usual patterns, and that makes every scene they are in feel a bit more uncertain and interesting. White eyes, wisdom and ancient power. White optics carry a very different kind of presence compared to other colors. They are often linked to ancient or extremely powerful beings, such as Alpha Trion and Primus. The moment you see white glowing eyes, it feels like you're looking at something far beyond an ordinary Transformer. This color is closely tied to purity and wisdom. Characters with white optics are usually calm, thoughtful, and deeply knowledgeable. They are not driven by anger or ambition. Instead, they carry a sense of understanding that comes from long experience and a broader view of the universe. White also represents a higher level of existence. These characters often operate above the usual conflicts between Autobots and Decepticons. They are not focused on winning battles or gaining power. Their role is often bigger, guiding events or maintaining balance in ways that are not always obvious. Another key meaning behind white optics is timelessness. These characters feel ancient, as if they have existed far longer than anyone else. Their presence can make everything else seem smaller in comparison. It is not just about strength, but about history and knowledge that goes beyond normal limits. There is also a peaceful quality to white eyes. Unlike the intensity of red or the energy of yellow, white feels calm and steady. It gives off a sense that everything is under control, even in chaotic situations. This makes these characters feel reliable in a very different way from traditional heroes. In many ways, white optics are less about personality and more about symbolism. They represent something larger than individual traits. When you see them, It feels like you are witnessing a force rather than just a character, something that exists beyond the everyday struggles of the Transformers world. Changing eye colors. Character transformation. One of the most fascinating details in the Transformers universe is the way eye colors can change. This is not just a small visual effect. It is often used to show major shifts in a character's identity, personality, or allegiance. It is a simple idea, but it carries a lot of meaning. A common example is the shift from blue to red. When a character who once had calm and trustworthy blue optics suddenly shows red, it usually signals corruption or betrayal. Without any dialogue, the audience can immediately understand that something has changed. The character is no longer the same. These changes are not limited to good turning into evil. Eye colors can also shift to reflect upgrades, power increases, or emotional changes. A brighter or more intense glow can show that a character has become stronger or more focused. In some cases, the color itself may change to match a new role or purpose. What makes this so effective is how quickly it communicates information. Instead of long explanations, the visual change tells the story instantly. You do not need to be told what is happening. You can see it in the character's optics. This technique also adds emotional weight to transformations. Watching a familiar character's eye color change can feel powerful because it makes the shift feel real. It is not just something happening in the background. It is right there, visible, and impossible to ignore. Another interesting aspect is how these changes can create tension. If a character's eye color flickers or shifts temporarily, it can suggest inner conflict. They may be struggling between two sides or dealing with a major decision. This adds depth without needing extra scenes or dialogue.